Protests in Berlin, Italy, London, Paris, Madrid, and Brussels. What are these protesters asking for? They are asking that one man be set free. That man is Julian Assange. So who is Julian Assange? Where is he currently? Why was he arrested? And why do the protesters want him to be set free?
He's the Australian WikiLeaks founder who could face an 175-year sentence in the US. He grew to prominence when WikiLeaks released thousands of classified US military documents, including a 2007 video showing a US helicopter attacking Iraqi civilians. In the same year, he was arrested in the UK after Sweden issued a warrant over sexual assault allegations. He denied the claims, and while on bail, he sought asylum in the Ecuadorian embassy in London, where he was confined for the next 7 years. Despite Sweden dropping the charges, the UK warned he would be arrested for breaching bail if he left the embassy. Ecuador, having had issues with Assange, revoked his asylum, which saw him forcibly removed from the embassy. He was then sent to Belmarsh prison to serve a 50-week sentence. Meanwhile, the US asked the UK to extradite Assange over espionage and hacking charges. He's remained in prison for 4 years pending the extradition hearing. A UK judge blocked the extradition, arguing Assange was at risk of suicide. The extradition was later approved on appeal, but Assange's lawyers continue to pursue avenues to block it. The Australian Parliament has called for Assange's return to Australia, while his wife has warned if the extradition goes through, he will die.
Happy Sabbath, everyone. My name is Natalie Furman, and Talent and Tandai have invited me to share a little bit about my experiences in the UK passing out the great controversy at the Julian Assange protest event. And before I do that, I would like to read to you out of this book, You Shall Receive Power. And by the way, I would like to say hi to my friend Maxine. She's the one who introduced me to this book, and it's just been a blessing. Anyway, this comes from October 28, a reading called More Consecrated Members. It is not the ministers alone, but the laymen who are not contributing all that they can to persuade men by precept and example to accept the saving grace of Christ with skill and tact, with wisdom received from above. They should persuade men to behold the Lamb of God who taketh away the sin of the world. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about my experience at the UK, well, before I arrived at the UK, and why that quote means so much to me. About 6 months ago, I had been doing pretty well in my life, and then an event happened which triggered a kind of a burn down in several areas of my life all at one time. And as a result of this, I entered a really depressed state of affairs and was just really struggling heavily for about 6 months. And because of this, I really began to cry out and grapple with the Lord and ask him to turn things around for me and bring me into a point of transformation that has resulted in a higher place than I've been before. And I had been working in ministry and having my devotions and doing all the right things, but you know, all of us, we need a much higher experience, and sometimes the Lord arranges events to make that happen for us. That's what happened to me. As a result, I wasn't feeling confident in a lot of areas in my life. And then I thought, hey, you know what? I'll just buy an airplane ticket to the UK and pass out great controversies, because I know that's something I'm successful at. So I thought also I should purchase a flexible plane ticket in case my plans change. I can just cancel and, you know, save the ticket for another time. For some reason, I could not cancel that trip to go other destinations. I could only go to England. And so I thought, well, I'll just go to England to the event and pass out great controversies like I had intended to originally. So with that in mind, somebody gave me Talent's telephone number and said, hey, you should call him up and see if Adventists are coming to pass out the great controversy. So I did, and nobody else was coming. And I thought, oh, that's strange. I would think tons of people would want to go to that event and pass out the great controversy. Now, I had been to other Julian Assange protests, and I had already given the family a great controversy and other materials. But for some reason, I just felt so compelled to be at this event. And I was at this event, and when I met Tandai and Talent and Ian and the girls, it was a whole other level. First of all, they came prepared with all the great controversies that you as a community have donated to and prayed for. I was so grateful to receive and hand out the materials you all provided. But they came with a booth and table and a speaker with that was narrating the great controversy.
Come and get your free copy of The Great Controversy and learn about the past, the present, and the future. The book is free. Come and get your copy today. This book explains what is happening behind the scenes in our world and how religious and political powers are coming together to form a new world order. Come and take your free copy of The Great Controversy. You cannot get this book in your local bookstore. That's why we are on the streets offering it to you today for free. The Great Controversy is a Christian book, but it's for everyone, regardless of your faith and belief. The book helps you to understand clearly Bible prophecy, what's happening in our world today, and what the future holds. Take a free copy of The Great Controversy. At the end of the day, you have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. This book has had a positive impact on millions of lives. Come and take a free copy of The Great Controversy, which was written over 100 years ago, but accurately describes what's taking place in the world today. If you really want to know the truth and be prepared for major events which are soon to take place in our world, then take a free copy of The Great Controversy. This book is a bestseller and has sold millions of copies worldwide, but today we are on the streets offering it to you for free. This is your one-off opportunity to get your hands on this very informative book.
And I thought the narrator did an excellent job just appealing to the people to give their hearts and lives to Jesus, because what is coming is just, we're not going to be able to get away from it. They had health materials, they had the posters of the Daniel image. It was just a very comprehensive approach, and I was so touched. And then when I got to the event, I was shocked at the strata of people that were at that event. Because as I said, I've been before, and in the past, nobody has cared about Julian Assange. And so I expected the same thing again. But my heart had been so burdened for his family and the things that had been going on. I thought, Lord, just give me an opportunity to give this material to them, and it will explain what's been going on and why this family has been so persecuted. So anyway, we got there and we all started passing out the Great Controversy books. And I'm not sure of all of the experiences that Talent and Ian and Tandai had, but the experiences I had, I really needed to have that 6 months prior of wrestling and grappling with the Lord for a spiritual transformation, because there were global journalists and very high politicians and attorneys that were present that needed to receive the three angels' messages, and we needed to be able to speak to them with the skill and the understanding of heaven. These are things that in my former experience before this 6 months, I wouldn't have had those things. I wouldn't have had divine tact and wisdom that was born from above. Also, I prayed before we left that if the Great Controversy and one of us were going to be featured on the news, I did not want to be that person. I said, please give this skill and understanding to someone else. And I believe that happened to Talent and Tandai. And so I think that was very exciting that the Lord was present. And I had the opportunity to speak with high people and low people. And one thing I noticed, because this crowd was so politically awake, And by that, I mean, if you Google the word Julian Assange in Wikipedia, you can read all about the disclosures that he has made. So people are aware of the sighing and crying of all the abominations that he and others have done, and the very high price that they have paid to make these disclosures. It occurred to me, I don't have anything left to share with these people that is new, except who's at the very top and what's coming in the future. And also, it was very important to explain to the people, to make them spiritually literate by explaining how the land of Constitution, the United States, and the land of the Magna Carta could both really be speaking like a dragon in this case, and how that's going to affect every citizen in the world. And how precious it was to receive the spiritual and political freedom, how we were all able to protest in freedom at that moment because of the gift that our forefathers had given us. And the medium that made us very capable to do that was the book, The Great Controversy. So it's amongst my favorite tools to give out to people. Anyway, I just would like to encourage you all and just say, if you're feeling low and incapable in your life, like your family's gone to pieces, your job, your kids have gone to pieces, that's the time to seek the Lord anyway and ask him for that divine tact and wisdom, because he can bless you anyway. He did it for me. And this Julian Assange protest opened doors, and I think is going to create a space in the future. There were some very high profile people that accepted that book, and perhaps in the future they will create a space to have the religious liberty and the political liberty argument and a global platform that will benefit our community. And so I would like to say to you all, thank you so much for your financial contributions. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your partnership. And I can't wait to meet all of you in heaven and look down and see all of the little tiny strands of providence that the Lord created from this event. My love to all of you. Thank you.
So, as you know, our liberties are almost getting extinct. If we're not for God holding back these winds, we may not be able to do this work in relative ease, but we have enjoyed thus far. I urge you to use any opportunity and every opportunity that God presents to speak to someone about what's going on, speak to someone about Christ and his soon coming, and all these harbingers that we are seeing, but also to warn people to not receive the mark of the beast and to know who is the whore of Revelation, because the whore has masqueraded as the church. So we went to London and we managed to meet the crowds at the High Court, and it was a wonderful day. We spoke to a lot of people. We gave out a lot of books. They were journalists, some of them a bit closed, especially the more left-leaning ones. You would speak to them and they'll probably just shut you down. But there were some people, especially independent journalists, which is the very concept that is under attack. And they were more than open. I spoke to a gentleman who had come all the way from Germany, and he was saying what has happened to Zimbabwe, for instance, is a harbinger of what's to come. And if these globalists are allowed to run amok amongst us, basically, and that was his take, we have had it. But the book of Revelation already explains that relationship, that political relationship, where the kings of the world, the politicians, and indeed the billionaires are under the little finger wrapped around the little finger of Rome, doing the bidding of Rome, while Rome and the Vatican might be the smallest country in the world, it wields unparalleled power to any. And it is our duty as God's people to expose the truth about that Antichrist power and also elevate the righteousness by faith, the righteousness of Christ, which is encapsulated in the third angel's message specifically. So, yeah, we had a wonderful day, some very deep conversations, searching conversations with some people, and also some people were just passers-by, but a lot of them also did not want to hear about it. They were just there for an occasion. It is planting time, and we have to do whatever we can to get these truths before the people, and this is exactly what we aim to do, and that's what we did. And it is not our duty as the sowers to make the seed to germinate. It is God who makes it rain and who make for those seeds to germinate and to yield much fruit. So, yeah, God really blessed us, and for that we are truly thankful. But if I can aid you anything, never waste an opportunity. Time is running out. The liberties that we hold dear are at stake. Enter the story of Julian Assange. This was just after the Davos meeting that they had done, and Julian Assange will become emblematic of what freedoms that are going for the general populace, and how they cannot be a voice of dissent even in America, where it's the land of freedom, the land of the free, and the home of the brave. What's happened is because when the policies of Rome are taken under the custody of the nation, even places where freedom once reigned, it's gone. And that's what you see in Revelation chapter 13. America began as a lamb-like beast. Who is the lamb? That's Christ. That's the Christ. And now it speaks like a dragon. Who's a dragon power? In the primary sense, the dragon is the devil. That's Revelation 12. It was the devil and Satan. But also, who is the dragon? In the Bible, God has called Pharaoh and Herod dragons. So it's civic power under the influence of the enemy. And right now you see America has got a Catholic president, which is not wrong in itself. But if they push then, according to the Constitution, American Constitution, if they push Romanism into the people, then there is a serious problem. And wherever Romanism has been pushed, things have gone south. I am reminded of Pope Leo XIII, who once wrote his encyclical, is Catholic social teaching, Rerum Novarum, and he condemned private ownership of land. We are entering there. That's why you're seeing even the farms are being taken from farmers, and there is, as it were, discouragement of country living and wanting to concentrate people into cities, 15-minute cities, and livable neighborhoods. They're calling it all sorts of crazy names. It's the same agenda from the pit of hell and from the Vatican. And Britain is way ahead with it. You got your ULEs and your ZES in Oxford, zero emission zones. You don't know what zero emissions actually look like, because when we stop emitting, it means we are all dead. All the animals are dead. These things are not defined in any way that we can understand it. So they only understand it, they will tell us when we get there. But what I would like to say is, when we get there, there won't be any freedom for you and me. And the time to actually do something about it is now. And it is also the time to prepare ourselves physically, spiritually, and mentally for it. It's coming. God can hold it, but God said it was going to come. It will come. God can hold the winds. But while we still have time, we have to do this work. for Sister White says that the way will be hedged on the left and on the right, that we'll not be able to do this. And time also to prepare to go into the countryside, to where there is no eyes of prying neighbors, and where we are free to exercise our liberty of choice, because the buying and selling crisis that they are creating, which is in Revelation 13, is being fulfilled right in front of us. And once it's erected, Sister White says, those who want to leave the cities will not be able to do so. Brethren, let's wake up, let's get ready, and stay ready. Thank you very much for once again visiting the Loud Cry International Ministries network and watching this video. And if you have watched it thus far, it shows you are committed to the spreading of the good news, the everlasting gospel. Thank you again. We have got an exciting opportunity that's coming up. One of our biggest mission, in fact, it's a continuation of our mission to the cities, and we are bringing the mission to the cities and towns of Scotland this summer. More information can be found in the recommended video, which is coming up. Please watch that. But just to say, a lot is at stake. Means are to be had, and so on and so forth. But before you forget, please consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell if you haven't done so for more updates, and we'll keep you posted even with this mission. But the simple thing that I can say is, right now the world is screaming lies and serving the wine of Babylon, while the church is whispering truth, afraid to offend the world. But the world is offending God every time. And I say it's time to preach the everlasting gospel. It's time to cry aloud, spare not. It's time to bring the loud cry of the third and the fourth angel to the world, especially to Scotland. It's time to finish the work. It's time that we depopulate Babylon one soul at a time, and continue to do so until kingdom come. Please support this mission and pray for us. Also, if you got materials that are accumulating dust, bring them. But even more importantly, financial means are to be had. And please consider partnering with Christ and donating a generous sum, that this may be a success, that we may bring many sons to glory. Thank you, thank you, and thank you again.